I can't hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear it either.
I don't hear the video.
I'm trying to. It's never a dull moment. Oh, good Lord. What is going on? Oh, here we are. There we go.
Yes, there it
Almost
is.
being picky.
I'm still not hearing it.
All right, I'm just gonna say welcome to everyone.
Welcome.
Always, we experience some type of technical difficulty, but it's okay. That's why, we just jump into it. Once that happens, you don't have to worry. So, at first, I want to introduce our lovely ladies, Evie and Yvonne. Um,
Hello.
we've been meeting already for like 2 weeks already, talking about mental health and Reiki principles and all these amazing things that you can do in your home
Yes.
to have tools in your home that are life saving that can help you. Um, so first, I'm gonna go and talk a little bit about Yvonne. Yvonne Secreto, she is a CEO. She's a nurse, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Health Awareness Educational Products and Services LLC, the creator of the wellnessgalaxy.com. The wellnessgalaxy.com is a community of virtual and in-person holistic health professionals and wellness experts who offer intuitive coaching and customized wellness care plans to natural healing seekers. And then we're going to talk about Evie. Evie, her business is Uniform Meditation, which is focused on supporting frontline heroes. Evie is a Reiki master, meditation teacher, deaf doula, and mediumship practitioner. Champions self discovery and compassion. She envisions a world where mental wellness is paramount. So I just want to welcome the two ladies here today. I
Hi, Kenya.
thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
I appreciate it always.
Hey,
Um,
Kenya.
we're starting another week of tools and learning about our mental well-being and what we can do to help that. And I'm just been thankful of everything you've both been sharing. Some really great nuggets for everyone to use, at home tools that they can use. It's really been helpful. I hope the audience really appreciates it. It seems like we have a nice response of people just tuning in, whether it's live or on the replay. So hopefully we'll get some people to come in and interact with us today. But
Oh, great.
if you like to go ahead and start, I don't know who would like to start first, but we could go ahead and start our program.
I'll start, Kenya. And thank you so much for having us on the program. I'm Yvonne. I've been a nurse for about 30 years. No, it's actually almost 40 years. and and I just love everything about health and healing. And so by the end of this series, when we finish, I think we have one or two left, you will have become familiar with some new products that you can use in your home to stay healthy. That's the goal. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. And one of the things that myself and my partner, Evie, my colleague here, we are going to give you new nuggets and bits of information to keep you healthy physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So that spells out PEMS, PEMS. And I'm going to review some of the tools that I talked to you about. The last session, or one of the sessions, I emphasized how important it is to have a blood pressure machine, a thermometer, and it's called a pulse oximeter that you put on your finger to check how much oxygen you have in your body. Tonight, I want to talk to you about two things: nutrition and stress management. Everything that I've shown you, and I have a lot of gadgets and devices here that I'm going to go over with you, but everything that I've talked to you about, when you read about what it does in the body, it doesn't really do anything to the body except make it strong enough to heal itself. Okay, so the cells have everything they need in them to heal. So do all of the other organs and parts of your body. But if it's not nourished properly, and if it's not operating at its optimum best, then it can't repair just the wear and tear. You know, when we go to work and we just go about our day, being in the environment, there's smog, there's pollution, there's everything. Our body goes through a lot of wear and tear. And so if we don't get the proper amount of sleep, the right amount of oxygen, that we're taking deep breaths in, Evie's going to talk to you a little bit more about that with meditation and other things that she teaches. If we're not nourishing our body with these things, then we are not giving ourselves the best opportunity to stay healthy. One of the things that I want to touch on is stress. We're living in a world where it's hard to avoid stress, right? But what we can do is learn about stress and really tune into our body. So we break stress down into the senses: aromatherapy, music therapy, light therapy. Those are all the senses. Those things balance you out when you go into a state of stress. So one of the workshops that we do, and we'll maybe be talking about on Sunday, is how to recognize when you're in stress. A lot of you, when you're feeling stress, your stomach hurts or your head hurts. That's your nervous system. Or maybe some people, their eyes, whatever. You recognize when your body's going into stress. We're going to give you some tips on how to bring yourself out of that stress very quickly. One, like I said, is aromatherapy. And I talked to you about that before. I know sometimes just breathing this oil, I can feel it literally go up into my brain. Okay. Eating the right kinds of foods, like I said, drinking a lot of water, that will definitely help with the stress. This is light therapy. I love talking about light. I told you about the happy light last week. And this is a red light. It's a manual red light. You see it moving around my hand? And these things you can get in any store. This literally, I had some pain in my hip and I laid down watching TV or reading and put this light against that hip. And I'm not exaggerating. First, the pain turned dull. It got it was sharp at first. Then it got dull and then it went away. So again, the light is helping the body to heal itself. There's that red light. So what we do is we scan people. This is a scanner, and they speak into the scanning device. It's called an AO scan, and it registers throughout your body, and then it reads to you where the imbalances are and prints out this 30-page report that has everything you could imagine about nutrients, minerals, all kinds of things that are happening in your body. I'm a big a fan of people checking in, assessing, really tuning in to what's happening in you. Unfortunately, we know people who went to the doctor and found out they were really sick and it was very late because they weren't tuned into what was happening with them. So I want to bring Evie into the conversation. And Evie is just like one of the most creative people that I've ever met. And so I want you to talk to us, Evie, about the more creative ways for people to keep themselves healthy.
Sure. I mean, I think being creative is so healing in itself. The ability to have that expression from that part of you within, from creation in general. There's just this part of spirit that can really be everything, and I think it's really exciting to be very empathetic with yourself and listen. And I think with creativity you can build intuition too, which is
Yes.
really, it's a really great way if that's something that you're interested in building within yourself. So you can draw, you can sing. I
Yes.
love that. Yeah. Certain tunes you can listen to. I think with one of the devices that you have, Yvonne,
Mm-hmm.
one that plays
It
a
is the AO scan. And
yes.
when you get your report, it gives you tones. These
Mm,
are musical tones, and you get four different tones based on the results of the scanning.
mm,
And you listen to the tones 3 times a day. And they're instrumental 2-minute pieces of music that really help to change your vibratory frequency. So, again, connecting to the senses, that is the one that connects to hearing
mm.
for the healing. So that AO scan with the tones is a wonderful, um, it's a treat. I use it when I exercise. I put my tones on and I'm on the vibration machine and I'm just listening and the time goes like that. So we will be having all of this demonstrated at our health fair this Sunday. I can't believe it's here already.
I can't believe it. Time flies, and
You
that's
want to
just
tell people where and how to connect with us about it?
absolutely. So it's this Sunday. We will start at 11 a.m. and the location is going to be in East Harlem. The exact address is 345. Very easy because it's like sequential. 345 East 104th Street. And the zip code is 10029. So that's between 2nd and 1st Avenues. There's street parking that day, but there's also some garages in the neighborhood as well if you wanted to drive in. And so, yeah, we're going to have so many different holistic and just integrative vendors that day. Yvonne's going to be there. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a great day, a community event. It's free. There'll be some snacks and refreshments and just joy. So definitely come by.
Well, you will see me with all my lights, the red light, the happy light, and all of the other lights that I love to use. This is a really cool device. This is a really cool device. It's called a My Health device, and there's a silver piece on the back here, and you can program this to any organ in the body that is out of balance. So if you have a liver or a lung or a kidney that's out of balance, there is a program on this device that will vibrate at the level of vibration that represents a healthy kidney, a healthy liver, a healthy lung. And you place it on that part of your body and it reminds that part of your body what that healthy vibrational frequency is. It's called a My Health device, MI Health device, and it's part of the NES scanning system. So we use a lot of body scans in our programs, and when you come on the 19th, you will be able to get scanned And there'll be other opportunities to try a lot of these things out that we talk about. This is the terahertz Terra Wand. And the thing that excites me about this, they talk about how it's, um, I think it's in between a microwave. We played the video, but the exciting thing about this is that a lot of people do not know about it yet, but in years to come, it will be a household item like the microwave was. If someone told you that with a device, you could warm up food in 1 minute and it would be piping hot and you could do it in a plastic bowl like 25, 50 years ago, you would say, you're crazy. What are you talking about? But yes, the microwave does that. And so the terahertz wand, what it does is it really helps your cells to repair themselves. Again, I carry a bag, a computer bag on my shoulder a lot, and I was having a lot of pain on on my right shoulder, and I really used this wand to take that shoulder pain away. And so I am a practitioner and a client with a lot of these devices. I have here a live cell machine. It's a little microscope. I don't. Is that coming through clearly?
Yes, more to the left. Yeah, there we go. I
It's
see.
a little microscope, and it's hooked up to a large TV screen. And it, with a drop of blood, I mentioned this before, we get that blood with a regular diabetic testing needle that just pricks your finger, and then we put it on a slide. This is a slide that's up on the screen now. It's on a regular slide. And then it reads the condition of your blood to tell you if you're digesting your foods, if you've been exposed to free radical damage, which is pollution. The cells they have this warped shape instead of the round shape. So we'll be doing a lot of those demonstrations on the 19th also. Evie, do you want to jump in with? I know you had you wanted to talk about a little more about mental health and self healing and things like that.
Yes, we want to talk about self-awareness and like compassion for others in regards to mental health, but I also wanted to tie in specifically the device that you just mentioned.
Hmm.
It can
The
find,
life cell. Hmm.
yes, the life cell. It can find if someone has a deficiency, a iron deficiency, for example.
Yes. Yes.
Some amazing, I think there was, I spoke to you one time and you recommended the
Blackstrap
black
molasses.
strip molasses, and you saw a difference and
Yeah.
you told me
Yes.
because it
Yes.
helped with that. And iron deficiency can appear sort of like with symptoms that can bring you down, right? And make you maybe
Yeah, you feel weak. This does not measure iron because it's not, but it shows you that there are less cells on the screen, and you can tell what when I was really doing this more frequently, women who were having their menses, you could actually see a difference in the
wow.
reading during that time versus a regular day for them. So it really shows that there are less cells showing up during periods where their iron may be lower. And so that will really just drain your energy. And if you have five things on your to-do list, you might get through two of them if you're walking around with low iron. And we love everything natural and holistic. And so blackstrap molasses is one of the greatest things that you could take if to build your iron level. And of course, there are many others, but so thank you for reminding me of that, Evie.
Yeah, because with what you're saying, it reminds me too that a healthy lifestyle maintains healthy blood And also that health, your blood quality can determine how it looks on that device, sort of like
Yeah.
health begins with your blood,
Mhm.
in a
Yeah.
way.
You can't, the blood doesn't lie.
Right.
This it's called nutritional microscopy,
Mm,
microscopy.
mm,
And it's not very popular in the United States. Some doctors and labs are allowed to use it if they're CLIA certified. But however, um, it's very popular in Europe. Very, very popular. And so a lot of time, things that are there in other parts of the world actually eventually get to us. There's also something called hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And I know for a fact that in Europe and many other places, and now in some places of the United States, they have what's called oxygen bars. And people go in and they have, it's probably compressed air. It's not true 100% oxygen because that is considered a medicine, and oxygen has to be prescribed by a doctor. But compressed air can be used, and it's 80% oxygen. And it pulls the oxygen from the air and purifies it in the machine, and then you can partake of it. They sell machines that do that, and it really, again, will invigorate your blood cells, like you're talking about, Evie.
I love that. And like you said, I think also food is medicine. And so, like, if you take this blackstrap molasses, I mean, it's just so filled with nutrients and like really, really is something. So, really, like, going back to the topic of just self awareness, using these tools really bring you back to that self awareness. It can help you determine, certain things about yourself so that you can really figure out, what do I have to do? What should I take? And that's what we're here for. We're here to help guide you. Um, as
And also to encourage you not to ignore it, like Evie
yes,
says, when you're having those feelings.
yes, precisely, perfectly said. We want to keep our bodies in that healthy state, and we can do that by using some of these tools, and eating well and looking at these more natural remedies. And so I'll go into more of the mental health, but I'll also tie in Yvonne because you have so much amazing knowledge. And so we were going to talk about self awareness. I think we started to get into that. I think another thing that we can also do with self awareness is just thinking about what providers, especially doctors, that we are drawn to or that we make our appointments with. And I wanted to ask you, Yvonne, because you work in the healthcare industry,
Yeah.
when you're looking for a doctor, what are some of the like green flags um, that you look for in a doctor? Because I think that's so important that people feel empowered
Yeah.
with their healthcare and the providers they go to.
Medicine has changed so much since I graduated in 1985. um, I I really have seen a more collaborative effort with the doctors
Mm,
in this age, I will say.
mm.
So, sometimes it's to a fault where people go to Dr. Google and they come to the
I'm
doctors and
guilty.
they tell them what they want them to do
I'm
because
guilty.
Google said so. So that's the other extreme to
Right.
how we used to be, where you didn't question what the doctor said and you just went there, listened, went home, and did to
Mm,
the letter what they say. I
mm,
think doctors now are more inviting. You're asking the individuals for input. One of the greatest doctors that I know is Dr. Kamal Kokai. He is a MD who practices holistic medicine. And we were at a retreat one time. It was a African ritual retreat. It was amazing. They were doing a lot of drumming. And there was a young man at the retreat who started having what looked like seizures at the retreat. And I was helping out and getting him in a comfortable place. And Dr. Kokai came in to speak to him, and I was so amazed at how the doctor really let the patient guide the process. He didn't jump in there and start telling. He really brought him in and said, "Has this happened to you before? What are you feeling?" And he really engaged him. And the person told us, "This is what happens. This is what I need. You know, this is how I feel." And he really co-created that recovery with us. So that amazed me because it really showed me how a good doctor is a doctor that's willing to listen and to engage the person and to trust them. I'll tell you uh, 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 an observation I made. I spoke at a symposium for doulas, and we use doulas in our work all the time. And this was for postpartum doulas, and it was about all the problems with women of color and birth, um, illnesses, and deaths. And the symposium was really informative. It was a wonderful film that we saw, and everyone in the audience, the other panel members and the audience kept saying, the doctors don't listen, the nurses don't listen. When we go to the hospital, they're not listening to what we're telling them. And I, as a nurse who works with doctors, felt that they were missing the point. And I rose my hand and I said, how about if they're listening, but you're not speaking their language? And that's why it's important to get those tools. So the lady went into the emergency room and she said, I'm not feeling well. I feel a little dizzy. And they gave her something over the counter, sent her home. That was terrible. They should have did a little more investigating. But if we could teach people going in to say, listen, I've been monitoring my blood pressure. These are the last 3 readings. It's starting to go down. I feel weak. I feel dizzy. That's their language. They will never send you away when you come with that kind of information. So these kind of devices are very easy to buy. They're not expensive. They're small to have in the home, but they could literally save your life. So it's very important for people to be self-aware. That's what you're promoting here, Evie, tonight. You're saying be aware of what's happening in your body, but then record it in a way that you show a trend of what's happening. At this time, I felt like this. I started to feel this. My fever was going up. So you have information with you or someone else in your home that when you take, they can't ignore that information. You see what I'm saying? So this is my recommendation to every individual. I believe there's a healer in every home. There is healing tools in every home. Every home can be a sanctuary. And when we meet on the 19th, we're going to help people to set that up and make sure that they are self-aware and able to self-correct. Sometimes an upset stomach needs some acidophilus, probiotic. It might be a food allergy. You got to recognize, did I eat this? Okay, that's what made me feel like. That's all of that is self-awareness and related to mental health.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Can we get those list of those 3 essential tools that everyone should have at home. I just want to put that in the comments one more time. I'm sorry.
It's a blood pressure monitor,
Mm-hmm.
a thermometer, which I think everyone has after COVID,
Ah,
a thermometer, and it's called a pulse, Pulse, oximeter.
pulse
Oximeter. Yeah.
monitor.
Oximeter. It
Oh,
looks
that's
like
how you spell it.
oximeter.
Oximeter.
And it checks the oxygen in your blood. If it's lower than 80, you need to be at the hospital. In the 80s, rather. You need to be on your way to the hospital in the 80s. You're having difficulty keeping oxygen. I think it's oxy with a Y. I think. Um, yeah. So you want to have these things in your home, and you want to um, check yourself all the time. Anytime I have a little headache, I'm not feeling optimally, I'm not feeling my best, I go and I check myself. And then I know, do I need to go get further help? Do I need to rest and relax? You will learn your body, and it will be a lot easier for you to um, make the corrections before they get out of hand. That's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid going to the doctor and them telling us um, things are at a stage that's now unmanageable. So we learn and listen to our body, and then we interrupt. If the body is in stress, it releases adrenaline. And adrenaline is a hormone that gives us more energy. But if we're not lifting up a car or running out of a burning building, we don't need a lot of energy. If we're just sitting down and worrying about our work or our home or relationships, we're releasing the adrenaline, but we're stagnant. So it's not giving us energy to do things. And what does it do? It breaks down the body instead. So you start to feel it as muscle pain in the back, as a headache in your head, as a strain in your eye. So that adrenaline starts working on you. Now, you know what you do to counteract it? You let your body develop endorphins. Endorphins are happy hormones, and you can't fake them. You have to really be happy. You can't even say you're happy. If you're not happy, it will not be produced in your body. And endorphins happen when you're really doing something you love, like I am right now, or when you fall in love, or when you are doing something that moves your heart, helping other people, whatever. Your body will develop endorphins. And one of the most powerful endorphins is interferon. Interferon is a hormone that reverses cancer. Okay, I can say that firmly. But guess what? Natural interferon will reverse cancer. There is synthetic interferon, but it doesn't always reverse cancer. But natural interferon will and can reverse cancer. But you can only produce it if you're genuinely happy. So that's really one of the biggest cures to mental health, is to find things that you love and do them. Find people that you love being around, like me and Evie and Kenya, and communicate with them. Those are the things that will help you develop natural interferon in your body. And meditation does too.
Yes, it does, definitely. I think one of the things that drew me to meditation was the ability to really like self reflect and listen to that inner voice and be able to like calm myself. I put in the chat because you had mentioned about stress,
Mhm.
that stress is body's response to a perceived or real threat. Excuse
Yeah.
me. And so when your body senses some sort of danger,
Yes.
uh, it's going to have these symptoms of
And that adrenaline comes out.
adrenaline that you mentioned, right? And then, I wanted to go back to the things to look for in a doctor or in specific mental.
I know I went off.
Yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no. It's
Uh,
good because you talked about prevention, and I think a way to do that is by being aware, by having some of these tools, those main things: a blood pressure monitor, a thermometer, a pulse oximeter, and taking and being sure to record things so you can have a record, and have that language for your medical providers. Um, for mental health, it may not be as easy to record some of the symptoms
yeah.
because it's not physically in the I guess measurable because it's happening in your mind sort of. So
Yeah.
I do still think journaling is a way to
Mm,
get that out, writing, being able to express yourself. You talked about creative expression,
yeah.
singing, listening to tunes, um, and then if there is something that you write down there, or a symbol that you see in your mind that you're like, or a dream that you have, even being able to be open, having that open mindedness, and looking it up. I think we do that. I do that a lot. I don't know about you, Yvonne.
Yes, yes. Dream interpretation is fun. And, Evie, you hit it on the head when you talk about mental health versus the physical health and the
Yeah.
physical symptoms. With the mental health, what you want to do is you want to give yourself permission to speak to someone. Uh, Try to remember that a lot of times, I say this all the time, your higher self may speak through that person to give you the answer you've been looking for. So just mentioning something casually about what you're feeling might open a door in a conversation to give you the feedback that you've been waiting for.
I love that. That is really important. Just being able to be open and share that this is my truth. I think being authentic, like you said, with the interference, it can only happen if you truly love something, if you're truly authentic with whatever it is that you're doing. And I think getting the help that you really, if you need that help, is to be honest and be truthful with the person, if it's a medical professional or if you do seek a therapist. um, so definitely, I think you also hit on some really great things. If you are seeking a mental health provider, for example, you would look for other, green flags, the same like with a medical doctor: open-mindedness, a personalized approach, like you mentioned with Dr. Kakai, a collaborative attitude,
Collaboration.
and definitely have the power to have that prevention, educate yourself. And I wanted to switch gears now on red flags for providers.
Mm.
Uh, what would you say you've seen maybe in the medical field that you would say, oh, I wouldn't,
Well,
a doctor?
I think it's the opposite of what we just said, and that's someone that's not paying attention to what you're saying and trying to work with you to figure out what the problem is. They're maybe distracted, and I don't think this is happening so much these days, but prior to recently, you would be waiting hours in the doctor's office, and they would come in for 5 minutes with a little pad and just, 1, 2, 3, okay, and send somebody in to take care of you. So I don't think things are happening like that anymore. So I would say that it's the opposite of what we just said. Someone who's not engaged, not connected, you know, um, doesn't look healthy themselves. No, I'm only kidding. Um, it's funny. One time I knew a couple who went to a marriage counselor, and the counselor, right off the bat, was talking about his 3 or 4 divorces. Of course, they didn't continue to stay with him. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, there's a lot that you can sense when you connect with anyone, whether it's a provider or a friend or whatever. You can really sense the person's authenticity, like you said. And then you could make a choice and you could say, something feels off. You want to trust that instinct and you want to trust that intuition and you want to make adjustments according to it.
I love that you said that because, a relationship can go, you can have a relationship with a healthcare provider. So, with any relationship, you want to make sure that it's something that you're comfortable with, that you feel empowered with, that you feel listened to, that you're not dismissed,
Yeah,
and that there's time, like you mentioned, that person gives you, that they have good communication, and that they're open minded and not just limited in their treatment options for you.
yeah,
So I'm so glad that we were able to go through that list because I think it's so key to just having that self awareness in your
yeah.
own health and what you can provide to yourself in those settings. And then also when you provide that to yourself, it's just such a difference on how you see other people. You
Yes,
see people like, oh, I'm treating myself good, and then it's like you just give that you have that expression for others. So
yeah.
I really wanted to tie that in, that the way that you treat yourself also reflects out to others. So
Mhm.
mental health is so important in that regard, that you give yourself the space, um, for the different tools, to care for yourself and to also explore what's out there. How can I get to know myself better?
So
Um,
we also will and should provide Evie a list of mental health resources.
Absolutely.
Um, there are tons of wonderful programs that you can use virtually for counseling. I know there was one that was very popular. I don't even remember the name now, but we'll have a list of resources available to you at the end of the series. There was one that even prescribed virtually.
Mm,
So they have, of course, licensed psychotherapists who are recognizing and knowing um, what people need. And then there are ones that do all natural, and we love those too.
yeah.
And social workers who are to me, they're like the other side of the coin to the nurses. And I love social workers. I have so many that I'm close to that I work with. They are also, many of them, licensed counselors,
Mm.
very, very valuable for mental health.
Yes, definitely. And I think a good thing a silver lining that came out of the pandemic is we became more remote. And
Yes.
so if you have health insurance, for example, you could look to see if your health insurance covers 100% remote, telehealth. And if
Mhm.
they do, then you don't have to pay a copay, which is great because copays can add up.
Sure.
And so, definitely, it just brings up that topic again. Feel empowered to
Yeah.
ask questions, to have compassion for yourself, and really just continue to make space for yourself, care for yourself, and it will show through with how you treat others as well,
And share your feelings.
and share your
Let
feelings.
people know how you're feeling. I had a wonderful conversation and session with someone recently, and she said to me, I really feel sad. And we took a look at why. And at the end of the conversation, she had more fun. So we can be that listening for others. We can be that sounding board that people bounce things off of, and just gain their trust to share whatever it is, and trust yourself. If you have a friend or colleague or someone that you work with or you're close with, family member, and you notice a difference in them, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Encourage them to talk about it. And maybe at some point they will, because I think everything gets better with the right communication.
I agree with you. I'm gonna go back to a really important skill that you mentioned earlier, which is listening. Um, when you're able to really actively listen to someone, it just really gives them the space to be themselves. And you don't even have to. They say this: the best therapists are the ones that just go, "Uh huh, yes, I hear you." And that's because sometimes when you're talking out loud, you are hearing things and getting to know yourself at a level, and just maybe even venting.
Mhm.
And when you hear somebody going through that, they're going through that process of letting it out. Maybe that's their way, but then they say, "Oh wait, I want to clean that up," just giving a person the space to be themselves, not taking it personally, and just learning about different perspectives as well through that process
Right.
really builds compassion for other people, because you never know what someone else is going through in that moment, or what kindness they need from you in that moment. Or
And this
maybe.
is true for the children too, Evie. You know,
Right.
we do a lot of work with children,
Yes.
and we think that children should be encouraged. I once read something that really struck me, and I tried to practice it. I don't remember who the author was, but the lady said when her grandson walks into the room, she receives him and greets him as if it's the most wonderful thing that ever happened to her to see him that day. And just that behavior of really showing love in our greeting and in our connecting with people will build their self esteem also.
I agree. That reminds me of our inner child too, because we have an inner child.
Yeah.
And just it reminded me of my favorite teacher in second grade, Miss Woods, and how she saw me and how she treated me and how she made me feel special. These, children really take that in. They just are absorbing their
Yeah.
environment, taking it all in. Those moments are so precious to make
Yeah.
someone feel seen. So I love that you
Change
brought
lives.
it. Does. It
Mhm.
really does. And modeling those things too
Yeah.
for children,
Yeah.
like practicing forgiveness, and how you show up for yourself, expressing gratitude to others, expressing gratitude to yourself. A simple mindfulness ritual that you can bring into your day is just saying, I'm so appreciative of myself for showing up the way I did. I'm so appreciative for giving myself space to do something that I'm passionate about.
Yes.
Just giving yourself thanks every day is such a simple way. And closing your eyes, and maybe that 1 minute, it could be your type of meditation. Make it work for you, and bring that ease into your life. Don't make it too complex, because then you'll
Yes.
never do it.
Exactly. That is such great advice and feedback, Evie. I mean, just really allowing yourself to receive. A lot of us are busy taking care of other people,
Mm,
and so we don't always remember that we deserve to receive also.
mm,
And so that's what we want to promote
Yes.
with Mental Health Awareness Month. Um, Reach out for help again. There are a lot of state, city, federal agencies that have funds, resources. I know people with children who have uh, attention deficit or autism. OPWDD has so many wonderful, wonderful programs. So these are the resources, the resource list that we will have for you at the end of the program, the series, and we will have available at our health fair on Sunday. Reach out for help. Do not be afraid to ask. Do not be hesitant to tell someone, I just don't feel good today. Or if your work is really stressing you and you can feel it and it's starting to register in your body, take a mental health day.
I love that. And also, perhaps maybe there are things on your mind. I do want to recommend that there is a crisis lifeline, and it's not 911, it's 988. And so, if for whatever reason, 24 hours a day, 24/7, if you feel ever that you need, they're available. So again, 988. And like Yvonne said, be honest with your feelings. An
Yeah.
easy way that you could connect with somebody is even a text message. You can say, hey, can you contact me? I just need someone to talk to. Just those simple little things. Give yourself permission. I love that you use that word, Yvonne. Permission. Give yourself permission to express those emotions and to be honest with yourself. And that in meditation we say you recognize that. You actually let it be so that it can pass. What you dismiss persists. So I think it's definitely important to acknowledge those things that come up for you.
So some of the things that we're going to introduce to you in the future are amazing. I don't have a lot of that equipment here, but we will have videos to show you. One is called a med bed, and it is a bed of light that you lay down in, and it really recharges and revitalizes your body. Again, very common in other places. There's also a light system that it's a huge panel of light that will again change the whole vibrational frequency of the room. We're going to introduce you to those larger pieces of equipment in future sessions of the series. There's something called a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and I mentioned this before. People may know about this. It's used for people who are usually in a fire and they have a lot of burn over their body. They put them in and infuse them with oxygen. They also use it for people who have wounds that won't heal. When the body gets that extra oxygen, it helps the body to heal faster. So we're going to show you that you can actually rent one of these machines into your home. And I know a nurse who has done that and other people. So again, this is all about helping you to become aware of things that are available to you and also of things that are going on within you.
Yes, I love that. And they're pain free. I mean, light therapy is amazing. It stimulates the body's natural healing process.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to rent it in your house, you can go to, Yvonne, and she can set you up. So just know
With the
that
light machine.
exactly.
And maybe one day we'll have a center with a hyperbaric oxygen chamber in it. I know they have portable chambers, but I didn't even take a look at that. But
Yeah,
again, oxygen is one of the best pieces of medicine in terms of really waking your cells up.
I love that. Hey, Kenya.
Hello, hello,
Hi,
ladies. So
welcome back.
that was so much great information that you guys provided today.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to the mental health fair coming up on this Sunday. Hopefully, we will get a response of people coming into the fair,
Yeah.
participating, learning about many of your tools and
Tools
devices,
and
and
trying them out.
yeah, and try them out and test them out. So hopefully that's something we see a great turnout for. It's been this series has been great and very informative, and it gives people options on other ways of dealing with mental health. And I just want to thank you and Evie for providing us with those different tools and allowing us to learn about what services you provide. So we look forward to seeing you at the mental health fair and getting to see those tools in person and being hands on with those tools. So, and what another thing that I really, really love, just explaining to people how they can bring some of these tools at home if they
Into their home. Yeah.
Right.
yeah, and if they're unable to bring it into the homes, you have a space that they can use all these tools in. So I
Mhm.
thank you for that. I thank you every week as we learn more and more about all the great services that you provide.
Of course.
Okay.
And if you want to sign up, it's
Yes,
mindfullyblooming.eventbrite.com.
yes,
And the
and
wellnessgalaxy.com.
yes, I will be posting it onto my Facebook page so people can have the event information. So I'll be sharing that all week this until the event happens.
Thank you,
So
Kenny.
you get a great turnout, and I want to see lots of pictures. I want to see how it turned out, and I hope people are hands on
Yeah.
and just utilize all these new tools that they can use in their home and also at your space if they decide to use your services.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for allowing us to create more endorphins in our
Yes.
bodies
Yes,
by doing the things that we love to do, talking about health.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And I'm gonna test out our promo video, see if it works for us this one last time,
Okay.
and and we'll close out the show very shortly. So
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Well, this is good. I really appreciate that people are very health conscious lately, and it just makes the world a better place. So
it just pops up. I'm so shocked that it does that, but
I want to
okay.
hear it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get ready. All right. It doesn't. It's playing. It jumped in and plays. It's
It
so weird.
jumped in and played.
I know it's playing, but it's not. We can't hear the
Well,
sound.
you can still see our beautiful pictures.
I'm gonna re-add it again. See if we get it. Yeah, we have to try it. Try one more time before we go. But thank you again for
Yeah.
everything that you do, that you ladies do. It's so amazing. So I'm just gonna have to. It's gonna pop right up. That's what I'm gonna have to let it do.
Okay.
Let it do its. Let us
Let
do
it
its
pop
own
up.
thing.
We want to remind people to reach out to someone if you need to.
Yes. Book. Yay. We got our own song.
Healing minds, bodies, and spirits, the powerful touch. Hands filled with energy, hearts full of care. Together they heal for those in despair. Guiding individuals to find inner peace, empowering them to fear's release. Yvonne and Evy with hearts so brave, healing souls the broken they save. Shining light on mental health's true plight. Through Reiki healing they bring hope and light. May their work inspire, may their love ignite a movement.
How
It's,
nice. I
it's
love
always
that.
really fun hearing that song. I don't know for whatever reason why it just when I add it like in the background, it doesn't want to play, but when I add it directly, it just plays. But I guess
It's
we'll
the
figure it out.
technology goonies.
It's,
I,
it's,
I
it's to
figured
think outside of the box. Think outside of the box. That's also a very creative way of going through life. We did at
I
the end, at the beginning.
everything can't be perfect, right? But I'm so happy you ladies join me every week to do this, share this information, and look
Yes.
forward to seeing you guys again next week.
Yes.
And everyone, thank you for joining, those who joined in, and then also those who are going to watch on the playback. And Yvonne and Evie are going to have more tools for you in the next
Next week.
following week. So I believe we have about 2 more weeks left in the month of May. And we're going to continue this. And also, just remember, mental health is not only for the month of May. You have to focus on your mental health
Every day.
throughout all 12 months of the year. Okay, so don't just make this month your month of tending your mental health. It has to be throughout the whole year. So Evie and Yvonne are available throughout all the year in all the 12 months. So if you need help, visit them.
Thank
And
you.
tell us your website again.
Mine is
The wellnessgalaxy.com or
uniformmeditation.com. Come to the fair.
And attend the fair this coming Sunday. All right. Thank you guys, and thank you
Bye.
for joining, and see you again next time.
Thank you, Ken.